your newest book that came out probably right after we had you on last time is called The
Right,
Waters of Life.
right.
Why don't you give us a little bit of kind of what The Waters of Life is about and how it connects to your other previous books?
Okay, well, for people who don't know, my field of study is I study symbols and myths and rituals of ancient cultures. I do comparative studies. The field is called comparative cosmology because these esoteric systems are talking about processes of creation. And my entry point into the research is a modern day African tribe called the Dogon, who are from Mali, which is in the northwest hump of Africa. And this modern tribe, um, their culture is a kind of umbrella over a number of ancient traditions. They have things in common with ancient Egypt, with Hinduism, with Buddhism, with Judaism, and of course all of the related African traditions. Um, they also have things in common with ancient China, with the Maori in New Zealand, and many other cultures around the world. Um, so when the Dogon talk about concepts of creation, they see their societal mission to be one of preserving original forms of symbolic elements. That they're trying to preserve the original forms of ancient words and of ancient symbols and ancient concepts, and then they instruct initiates in this knowledge. Sort of one-on-one instruction, sort of like apprenticeship was back in the day. One initiate works with one informant, and it's the initiate's job to ask the next pertinent question for their own education, basically. And the Dogon, when they talk about creation, uh, they're really discussing four different aspects of that, four different themes. The first is how matter forms. The second is how the universe forms. Another is how biological life comes about. And the third one is how consciousness comes about. So until the book, The Waters of Life, most of my focus had been on um, concepts that relate to the formation of matter, because that's the theme that has the most recognizable state, the largest number of recognizable stages and shapes. Um, the Buddhist and the Dogon systems are based on what the Buddhists called adequate symbols. These are shapes that are found in nature that any society like ours that is technologically based should recognize what the shape is. And so the meaning of that shape can't really get lost. These are scientific meanings that go with the shapes. So the Dogon are a particularly good place to start a study like mine because their language has many things in common with ancient Egypt. Actually, their language um, is technically not classifiable because it preserves subgroupings of words from 18 other languages. There are Turkish words, there are Tamil words, there are Sanskrit words, uh, there are words that look like they come from the Faroese language of the British Isles. There are words that align with ancient Greek words. Um, so my task or my job, as I see it, is when one of these ancient cultures makes a claim about one of the symbolic elements, my job is to test that claim against how all the other ancient cultures saw the same element, because many of them preserve the same shapes. Remember, Carl Jung, the psychiatrist, referred to these themes and shapes as archetypes. He was um, astounded to find them in cultures all around the world. The Dogon perspective is in agreement with the Buddhist perspective that they both see things. They see this system of symbols as an instructed tradition, that in ancient times, someone who thoroughly understood how creational science works took the time to set up a system to educate humanity about that. And they made an effort to educate tribal groups all around the world in these concepts. And so that's why you have ancient cultures from all around the world who share really obscure little ideas, like the idea that there's a wheel associated with the constellation of Orion. You look up there, there's no wheel, there's no chariot associated with Orion, but any number of ancient cultures said there was.
Yeah. So, do you think it's something that, um, given enough time, or maybe time and space, that most ancient cultures came up with similar things, hence the commonalities? Or do you think it's one society or culture coming up with these ideas and then it spreading out? I know that your books have kind of a little bit of both of those.
Right. Well, um, academics have a concept called parallel development. And parallel development is, okay, imagine you have a culture that whose primary building material is stone. It's only a matter of time. There are only so many things you can do with stone. It's only a matter of time before they'll think to stack those stones up into a pyramid shape. So it's completely thinkable that lots of different cultures would think to build pyramids because that's one of the things you can do with stone. However, there's also very subtle symbolism that consistently goes with that pyramid form that all these cultures somehow know about, even though wouldn't be automatic to conceptualize a pyramid as a woman lying on her back and the pyramid being her womb. Um, it wouldn't be expected that a culture would use the four faces of a pyramid to associate with star groups that regulate their agricultural cycle. So it's the symbolism that makes it look as if this is a system, a planned system, and an instructed system, not just coincidental development by different cultures.